Some of the greatest things in life happen completely by accident. And it turns out that goes for one of the most iconic rock songs ever written. It's almost hard to believe, but that opening riff to Sweet Child of Mine, a sound that pretty much anyone on the planet can recognize, well, it was never even supposed to exist. So let's get into the story of this accidental anthem.
And there you have it, straight from the man himself. Slash. That's the absolute core of this whole story. The legendary guitarist who wrote one of the most famous riffs in history thought it was a total joke. He wasn't even trying to write a song, he was just messing around. All right, so picture this. It's 1986. The guys from Guns N' Roses are all living and working together in this house in LA, just a total pressure cooker of creativity. And during a jam session, Slash is just warming up his fingers with this little exercise he'd been toying with, something he completely dismissed as a silly kind of circus-like melody. Now, this is where it gets really interesting because you have this total split in how people reacted. While Slash is thinking the riff is just goofy and that it definitely doesn't fit their whole hardcore, dirty rock and roll vibe, Axl Rose hears it from another room and immediately sees something in it. He comes running in and just makes Slash play it over and over and over. And right then, Izzy Stradlin starts laying down some chords behind it. And suddenly, a song starts to take shape. And the crazy part is how fast it all came together. Once Axl latched onto that riff, the rest of the band just locked in. Duff McKagan on bass and Steven Adler on drums built that perfect rhythm section. And according to Duff, the entire musical foundation of the song was pretty much done in about an hour. Think about that. From a simple finger exercise to an almost finished song in just 60 minutes. It's wild. So we know the music was born from this total happy accident, right? But what about the lyrics? This is where the song really transforms from just a catchy tune into something deeply personal, a real story. With the music sort of swirling around him, Axl goes up to his room and comes back with the words. But here's the thing. He didn't just write them on the spot. He actually adapted them from a very personal poem he was already working on for his girlfriend at the time, Erin Everly. So this wasn't just another rock song. This was literally a love letter set to music. And this was a huge deal for them. For a band that was building their whole image on being hardcore, dirty, and mean, putting out a song this tender was unexpected. Axl himself said that most rock bands are too afraid to show any emotion besides, pain. He even listened to old Lynyrd Skynyrd tapes to try and capture that really genuine, down-home, heartfelt feeling. You can't make this stuff up. Even the famous poetic ending wasn't planned. As the track was looping in the studio, Axl was genuinely confused about what to do next, and he just asked their producer, Mike Klink, "Where do we go? Where do we go now?" And Klink, being a genius, just loved the raw, confused sound of it and told him to sing it exactly like that. Another accident that ended up being absolutely iconic. So they had this incredible song, right? A perfect mix of a joke riff and a heartfelt poem. You'd think it would be an instant smash hit. But nope. The album it was on, Appetite for Destruction, was anything but an overnight success. Let's look at the timeline here. The album drops in July of '87, and the first two singles basically go nowhere. It took almost a full year for Sweet Child of Mine to finally get released as the third single, and that's when everything changed. The song just starts climbing the charts, hits #1 in September of '88, and it literally dragged the entire album up to #1 with it. But even its success came with a cost. The full song is almost 6 minutes long. So for mainstream radio, the label put out this heavily edited version, chopping it down to just over 4 minutes. And what got cut? A huge chunk of Slash's guitar solo, the part that Axl actually called his favorite part of the whole song. All just to make more room for commercials. The music business, right? But hey, despite the edits and that super slow start, the song's journey was really just getting started. It didn't just become a hit. It became a permanent part of our cultural landscape. Just let this sink in for a second. Of all the legendary songs Guns N' Roses gave us, Welcome to the Jungle, Paradise City, November Rain, the only one to ever hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 was that silly circus melody that Slash didn't even want to record in the first place. That's just beautiful irony. And its power? Well, it hasn't faded one bit. In 2019, its music video became the very first from the entire decade of the 1980s to cross 1 billion views on YouTube. We're not just talking about nostalgia here. This is a song that keeps finding brand new audiences, year after year. And of course, the album it was on saw unbelievable success. Thanks in huge part to Sweet Child of Mine, Appetite for Destruction has sold over 18 million copies. That makes it the best-selling debut album in American history. That one accidental song was the key that unlocked everything for them.
I mean, look at this list. From Sheryl Crow's Grammy-winning cover to that gut-wrenching scene in The Wrestler, to the finale of The Office, all the way to Thor: Love and Thunder, the song is just everywhere. It's been reimagined, recontextualized, and it's even recharted decades after it first came out. It's truly woven into the fabric of our culture. Okay, so the numbers are just staggering, but they don't really explain the feeling, do they? They don't explain why this song hits so hard even today. What is it about this accidental anthem that gives it such a deep, real, emotional punch? I think the answer really lies in the song's profound and surprising vulnerability. It's this moment of pure, totally unguarded emotion from a band that was supposed to be anything but. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? Guns N' Roses' world was all about the street, about chaos, about dirt and rage. And then, right in the middle of all that noise, this song appears. It's like this moment of unexpected softness, like a flash of blue sky in the middle of a thunderstorm. At its very core, the song isn't just about love, it's about finding shelter. It speaks to that universal feeling of finding that one person who reminds you of who you were before the world kind of beat you down. It's about finding that warm, safe place to hide when everything outside is just raging. And maybe this is the real reason, the most powerful reason why we're all still listening. It's not just a song about a sweet child, it's also about the child inside the singer, and honestly, the child inside all of us. It's that rare, honest sound of a tough exterior cracking just enough to admit that underneath it all, there's a part of us that's still innocent, still vulnerable, and still capable of breaking. And in that one moment of raw admission, this accidental song found its eternal, timeless power.